Welcome back to the Nap Lab. Today we are comparing two of the most unique luxury mattress brands, Purple and Tempurpedic. Both of these brands have an ultra-specific design and feel that is unique and distinct from many of their competitors. Tempurpedic specializes in their memory foam mattresses that create a dramatic body contouring hug and low motion transfer. They've been around since 1992 and they're most well known for their commercials with a person jumping on one side of the mattress while a glass of wine is undisturbed on the other side. They're often seen as the original memory foam mattress, and they can be found in many traditional furniture stores. Purple, on the other hand, has only been around since 2015 and has gained notoriety for their patented hyper-elastic grid in the place of viscoelastic foam. While being one of the most well-known bed-in-a-box brands to come out of this period, they have standalone brick-and-mortar stores to offer sleepers a chance to test the mattress in person. Which brand is better? And what mattress brand should you buy? Let's jump into the comparison and find out now. We've tested 7 mattresses from Purple and 4 mattresses from Tempurpedic. On screen now is a complete list of all mattresses tested with their respective scores. Before we go into specific mattresses, let's compare the brands at a high level. Let's start with comparing prices between brands. All things considered, Tempurpedic is slightly more expensive compared to Purple. Among models we've tested, the price of the average Tempurpedic mattress is $24.32. Their most budget-friendly model is the Tempurpedic Supreme, but it still costs $18.99 for a queen. On the top end, their most expensive model is $33.99. Purple, while no cheap brand either, has an average mattress price of $21.27, and their most affordable mattress is the Purple Flex at $9.99. Of the Purple mattresses we've tested, their most expensive model is $36.99. Both brands also have a number of super pricey mattresses, many of which we haven't tested yet, and therefore they're not included in our data. That said, Tempurpedic has a model called the Tempur-Active Breeze system, which is just under $10,000, while Purple has their Rejuvenate Premier Ultimate for $8K. Outliers notwithstanding, Purple is the more affordable brand with options ranging from $9.99 to $36.99. So now let's take a look at company policies. Both Tempurpedic and Purple offer 10-year warranties, free shipping, and assemble their mattresses in the US. When it comes to the trial period, Tempurpedic's is 10 nights less than what Purple offers. However, this is the difference between 90 nights and 100 nights, where the brand average trial period is 174 nights based on everything we've tested to date. Furthermore, both companies charge a return fee if you decide the mattress isn't right for you. Tempurpedic will charge $175 to process a return, whereas Purple will charge between $150 to $350 depending on the mattress model being returned. Both of these are among the 4% of mattresses that have return fees above $150. 78% of all mattresses we test offer free returns, so having to pay anything, let alone $150 or more, is far from ideal. When it comes to consumer-friendly policies, neither company is doing especially amazing. Moving on, let's compare the range of firmness options from each brand. Looking at the available mattresses that we've tested, Tempurpedic ranges from a 5 to an 8, which is a medium to a firm, while Purple ranges from a 5 to a 6 out of 10, where 10 is the most firm, which is a medium to a medium firm. Tempurpedic definitely has a wider spread in terms of firmness. Here are the options from Tempurpedic. And here are the options from Purple. Without a doubt, if you need something firmer, Tempurpedic has the advantage. For our last high-level analysis, let's take a look at the performance scores between brands. Despite the higher cost of Tempurpedic, Purple delivers the higher performance by a healthy margin. The average Tempurpedic score is 7.73, and the average Purple score is 8.31. Then, looking at the top scoring models for each brand, Purple still comes out on top, with the Purple mattress having a performance score of 8.88. Tempurpedic's highest scoring mattress is a 7.87. These scores are determined from 8 different categories, including cooling, motion transfer, response time, edge port, sex performance, pressure relief, off-gassing, and company. We'll go into greater detail about each category in a moment, but first, let's highlight the best mattresses from each brand. Between Tempurpedic and Purple, the 2 top recommendations are the Tempurpedic Pro Adapt and Purple. The Tempurpedic Pro Adapt is a 12-inch memory foam mattress with 2 layers of comfort memory foam and 2 layers of support foam. Purple. It has a medium feel with minimal sinkage and very low bounce. Although this is the best Tempur-Pedic mattress we've tested from the current collection, it's hardly the best mattress on the market. Especially given the price, the Tempur-Pedic just isn't a great value. For performance, it scores in the bottom 12% among all mattresses tested to date, and it's over 200% more expensive than the average memory foam mattress, which is an average price of $1,121. Purple is a 9.5-inch mattress, so it's much thinner profile than what we see with Tempur-Pedic. It has a medium feel with moderate sinkage and very high bounce. It has an overall performance that ranks it in the top 22% among all mattresses tested to date. It's 3% more expensive than the average mattress, but is considerably less expensive than Tempur-Pedic. That being said, it also has a dramatically different feel than Tempur-Pedic. Purple has more of a floating feel and doesn't create the same type of dramatic hug that memory foam will create. Between Tempur-Pedic and Purple, Tempur-Pedic has a more classic memory foam contour and hug, while the Purple has more pushback and a bit of a floating feel. Purple is also considerably less expensive than Tempur-Pedic. Comparing the top performing Tempur-Pedic Pro Adapt versus Purple side by side, opting for Purple will save sleepers $1,900 compared to buying Tempur-Pedic. Or, if you think of it another way, you could buy 2 Purple mattresses and still have $400 left over. For the majority of sleepers, going with the best model by overall scoring performance is going to be the best choice. From Tempur-Pedic, that means the Tempur-Pedic Pro Adapt, and from Purple, it's the Purple. That said, there are a few other standout models that, depending on your needs, could be the better choice. If you need something more budget-friendly, go with the Tempur-Pedic Supreme or Purple Flex. For stomach and back sleepers, go with the Purple Restore Plus, while the Tempur-Pedic Pro Adapt remains the best option from Tempur-Pedic. These models have the right firmness and sinkage depth for back and stomach sleepers. If you want something soft or firm, unfortunately your only option is going to be Tempur-Pedic. Purple only sells models within a medium to medium firm range. Next up, we're going to do a deep dive comparison on 3 of the most popular Purple mattresses versus 3 of the most popular Tempur-Pedic mattresses. From Purple, we'll be looking at the Purple Restore Plus, and Purple Restore Premier. From Tempur-Pedic, we'll be looking at the Tempur-Pedic Cloud, Tempur-Pedic Pro Adapt, and the Tempur-Pedic Supreme. Looking at Tempur-Pedic versus Purple, Tempur-Pedic has a cooling average score of 7.6, and Purple earned an average cooling score of 9.3, making the Purple the winner for cooling. The average cooling score across all mattresses tested to date is an 8.6. From this data, we can see that all Tempur-Pedic mattresses have worse cooling than average, and all Purple mattresses have better cooling than average. And when we look inside each mattress, it should be no surprise as to why. Tempur-Pedic uses a traditional memory foam that's designed for deeper hug, more dramatic contour, and a slower material response. The result can be worse cooling, worse breathability, and higher levels of heat retention. By comparison, Purple uses its patented Purple Grid, which is a hyperelastic polymer designed to maximize breathability and airflow. Purple mattresses also have less sinkage, which helps keep sleepers more on the surface of the mattress instead of engaging deeply with the conforming layers. When comparing these 2 brands, both mattresses have a sinkage level that is either minimal or moderate. Tempur-Pedic has a sinkage range of 0.38 inches with an average level of 1.94 inches. Purple has a sinkage range of 0.42 inches with an average level of 2.01 inches. For reference, the average sinkage across all mattresses tested to date is 2.17 inches. By these metrics, technically, Purple has deeper sinkage than Tempur-Pedic, but both brands have less sinkage than average, excluding the Purple mattress. Also remember, the sinkage level isn't the only important factor worth considering when thinking about the feel of the mattress. Generally, lying on a Tempur-Pedic mattress is going to result in more contour and deeper hug, even if the overall sinkage is not as dramatic. Purple has a dramatically different feel. Purple mattresses have more of a floating feel or feeling of being on the mattress as opposed to sinking down in the mattress. Moving on, let's talk motion transfer. Both brands have mattresses that impress in this category, and they also have models that fall a bit short. The average level of motion transfer across all mattresses tested to date is 8.73 meters per second squared. Based on all of our data, the Tempur-Pedic Cloud, Tempur-Pedic Pro Adapt, Tempur-Pedic Supreme, and Purple mattress all have less motion transfer than average. The mattress with the least amount of motion transfer is the Purple. The Purple Restore Plus and Purple Restore Premier both have a higher level of motion transfer than average. The Tempur-Pedic models do the best in this category because of memory foam's ability to deaden motion and limit bounce. The Purple hybrids have a coil base, and when combined together with the Purple Grid, the result result is a higher level of bounce and motion transfer. When thinking about material responsiveness time, Purple is the clear winner. The average response score from Tempurpedic is a 5 out of 10, whereas the average response time for Purple is 10 out of 10. The average response time across all mattresses tested to date is 0.4 seconds to be most recovered and 1.0 seconds for a full recovery. These measurements equal an average response score of 8.8 out of 10. All Tempurpedic mattresses have a response time that is significantly slower than average, and all Purple mattresses have a response time that is significantly faster than average. Again, like motion transfer, the natural properties of these materials are really playing a big role here. Tempurpedic mattresses with more traditional memory foams have that classic viscoelasticity, creating more contour and slower response times. On the contrary, Purple mattresses are made of Purple's grid, polyfoam, and pocketed coil bases for the hybrid models. Each of these materials contributes to the faster material response time and the ability to return to their original shape much faster than Tempurpedic mattresses. Next up, let's talk bounce. All Tempurpedic mattresses have a very low level of bounce, and Purple mattresses have a range of moderate to very high bounce. The average bounce level of Tempurpedic mattresses is 5.08 inches, and the average of Purple mattresses is 11.48 inches. Bounce is not a good versus bad issue, but these mattresses are going to deliver significantly different experiences. Mattresses with more bounce, like the Purple, are generally better for ease of movement and increased sex performance. However, a higher bounce can also create a higher level of motion transfer, which we saw in the Purple hybrid models. Mattresses with less bounce, like Tempurpedic, can benefit from lower motion transfer and the feeling of hug and contour. So there are pros and cons. Depending on what you're looking for and prioritize, you will likely love one level of bounce a little bit more than the other. Next up, let's talk edge sport. Comparing Tempurpedic versus Purple, there is a pretty wide range of mattress performance levels. That said, across the board, the only mattresses that are excellent are the Purple hybrids, Purple Restore Plus and Purple Restore Premier. The average edge sport score across all mattresses tested to date is 8.6 out of 10, with 4.02 inches of sitting sinkage and good edge sport while lying. Compared to the average level, all mattresses in this comparison performed worse than average, except for the Purple hybrid mattresses mentioned previously. Both the Tempurpedic models and the Purple really struggle in this category. Much of that has to do with the quantity of foam in those mattresses. Foam mattresses, or mattresses with a substantial foam comfort layer, tend to struggle compared to more with hybrids. Next up, we're going to talk sex. Purple scores significantly better for sex performance than Tempurpedic. As you can see from the data on screen, all Tempurpedic mattresses have lower than average sex scores, and all Purple mattresses have higher than average sex scores. A huge portion of the sex score is bounce, and Purple dominates Tempurpedic when looking for high bounce levels. High bounce partnered with good edge sport is a winning combination for a mattress built for intimacy. The Purple Restore Plus scored a 10 out of 10 for both high bounce and excellent edge sport. The result is an extraordinarily good sex score of 9.9 out of 10. For the absolute best performance among these two brands, the Purple Restore Plus is the mattress to beat. Between Tempurpedic and Purple, Tempurpedic technically has the better pressure relief with a brand score of 9.3 out of 10. For comparison, Purple's brand average score is a 9.0. Just slightly lower, the average pressure relief score across all mattresses tested to date is an 8.6. For additional reference, the average comfort layer thickness is 4.2 inches. All mattresses featured in this comparison have better pressure relief than average, with the Tempurpedic Pro Adapt being the only mattress to score a 10 out of 10. The Purple and Purple Restore Plus also have a thicker comfort layer than average, which helps contribute to better pressure relief levels. Moving on, let's talk off-gassing and smell. Comparing Tempurpedic versus Purple, both brands have mattresses with decent off-gassing and mattresses with really bad off-gassing. There's a pretty wide margin here from both companies. The average off-gassing score across all mattresses tested to date is an 8.2 out of 10, with an average off-gassing duration of 7 days. The mattress with the fastest off-gassing is the Purple, which had a strong odor out of the box, but off-gas within 4 days. The mattress with the slowest off-gassing is the Tempurpedic Supreme, which had a strong odor upon the initial unboxing and didn't subside until 40 days post-unboxing. The Tempurpedic Cloud, Tempurpedic Pro Adapt, and Purple Restore Plus all have off-gassing scores that are just slightly worse than average, but nothing extreme. Neither brand stands out as a clear winner when it comes to the company score. The collective company policies from Purple and Tempurpedic are fairly similar, and both are notably worse than most consumer-friendly policies that we've seen from other brands. Among all mattresses tested, the average trial length is 175 nights, and the average warranty is 13 years, excluding 39% of mattresses that offer lifetime warranties. Both Tempurpedic and Purple have similar trial period lengths, matching 10-year warranties, and high return fees. However, Purple's return fees can cost you more depending on the model being returned. Purple's return fees can range from $150 to $350, whereas Tempurpedic charges a $175 return fee. At these prices, these are among the highest return fees we've seen. Comparing 311 mattresses tested to date, 82.6% of those mattresses offer free returns. Of the 54 cited mattresses that charge for returns, 46 mattresses had return fees of under $100. From an objective basis, Purple is the clear winner between these brands. Dollar for dollar, you're getting a higher performance mattress and saving a substantial amount of cash in the process. Subjectively speaking, these mattresses offer extremely different feels, and you'll have to make your own assessment about which sounds the best for your needs. Tempurpedic creates a more dramatic body hug contour and is known for their dense memory foam feel, while Purple is highly responsive, bouncy, and creates more of a floating feel where you lie more on the mattress as opposed to sinking down in the mattress. Be mindful that both brands charge heavy fees in the event you need to initiate a return. $175 to return Tempurpedic and $150 to $350 in order to return to Purple. Well guys, that's it for this video. I hope you found it helpful. Comments or questions, please drop us those notes down below. If you're interested in buying the Purple or Tempurpedic, we've got links in the description. For more from NapLab, be sure to get subscribed, ring that bell, and visit us over at naplab.com. As always, thank you so much for watching.